I come to the keynote speech of the day. We have Mr. Garry De La Pomeari. Gary, are you there?
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
we're gonna try and.
I pass it over to Gary. I invite him to deliver
Okay.
keynote speech. The topic is transforming earthquake early warning SFDRR strategy into new beneficiary action.
Right.
Over to you, Gary.
Thank you. I'm going to try and share my screen. Good afternoon. And my keynote is going to be asking the question: can we afford not to meet the deadline of 2030 for the earthquake early warning implementation? I would suggest we can't, because over half the India's population is in the north and the Gujarat region and susceptible to earthquakes. And we've also got a $71 trillion global asset risk to earthquakes. So, the primary question is, can an earthquake early warning system help us address both those aspects? So, if we look back in 2005, a HIOGA framework for action, within its 5 priorities, there are a few key areas which we want to embrace within an earthquake early warning system. One is enhancing early warning and then reduce the underlying risk factors to society and strengthen disaster preparedness for effective response at all levels, and that is within early warning. Within the Sendai framework, 10 years later, we still have global targets which we need to embrace within an earthquake early warning system. One, reducing the direct disaster economic losses, sustainably reduce disaster damage to critical infrastructure and disruption of basic services, especially amongst health and within disasters are within earthquakes. And just to give us some example of costs of an earthquake, we have to go back as far as 1994, because it was in 2003 that they did some research on the cost of the Northridge earthquake in America. And this particular earthquake, even with the very limited number of deaths, was still cost $2 billion in casualties. And that's from everything, including injury with no treatment, because that has a knock-on effect within families, and out of hospital treatment and release. So recorded economic losses, this is an area which we have a particular concern, because some of this is avoidable. All right, recorded economic losses 2000 up to 2019, 21% of disaster losses were through earthquakes, $636 billion. And this is a figure which we need to remember when we look at the cost of implementing any aspect of earthquake early warning. And it cost in disasters as a whole, cost Asia $1.26 trillion. That was half the losses of the world. So what are preventable losses? And preventable losses are those areas of which, if we have advanced notice, advanced warning, we can actually do something about it. 30 seconds of early warning, we cannot protect let alone our casualties, we cannot protect our non-fixed item assets. So we're looking at retail, domestic, and office. These areas are non-fixtures are capable of being protected if we've got advanced notice. So what I'm doing here is a soft introduction to an advanced earthquake early warning system. And this is not prediction, it's not forecasting. This is physical early warning, but it goes through a process. And this is really most important. So we're using a network of seismic gravity wave sensors and radon sensors as well as a multi-platform of satellite observations. And this provides us initially with an awareness of an impending event. And this gives us 15 days plus of the potential of something about to happen. And that's the critical area. Even at the next stage, we're not taking it as a surprise. However, by detecting what they have recently discovered the last 10 years, the seismic gravity wave and the capability of monitoring it, we are now able to confirm the genesis of an earthquake. And this provides us with a date, determining the time, the location and magnitude of the event. This is providing us with a precise warning. And this is something we've not been capable of doing over the last 15, 20 years. And how is this actually generated? Well, part of this and the confirmation of the earthquake is generated by us understanding the genesis of the earthquake. From the hypercenter, the resonance is generated, which spreads out across the world, meets on the opposite side and returns. And this returns in the form of a KY wave. And it's that KY wave which we pick up with our sensors. From those sensors, we're able to identify its point of return, its time of return, and its magnitude, all at varying stages. Okay. This just demonstrates basically the differential between what we've been using to date in earthquake early warning sensors to what we need for an advanced earthquake early warning system. We only require approximately 250 sensors globally in order to create a reliable 99%, 95, 99% assurity of getting that precise early warning. Whereas P-wave early warning systems are needing hundreds and thousands per country. So looking at a summary of an advanced early warning system, we're providing a lead-in of up to 30 days, raising the awareness of a potential seismic event. This brings our attention to a particular zone of which we're likely to have an event, enabling NDMAs, government security services, response agencies to prepare, enabling critical infrastructure to employ contingency plans. And then finally, we're looking at, through the observation of the detection of the seismic gravity wave and the returning KY wave, we provide a 5 days in advance the genesis beginning of the earthquake event with 99% surety. This is removing the uncertainty, enabling disaster management plans to be integrated before the shake rupture. And this enables society to prepare in advance at all levels of society. And even offering aftershock warning post main event. So several minutes, providing several minutes of advance warning, which is crucial during the immediate recovery and potential rescue of those who have not been able to take shelter. So an advanced early warning system is identifying the epicenter of the materializing seismic event, eliminating the traditional P-wave blind zone. The blind zone was a 30-kilometer radius of where we could not penetrate with an early warning system. We're minimizing all potential casualties with 2, 3, 4, 5 days of advance notice, right? Having identified the seismic gravity wave, which confirms the event is going to happen. And then confirming the magnitude of the event, enabling intelligent, proactive decisions scaled to magnitude, location, time of day, and also taking in consideration the weather conditions as well, and providing precise time window of the event within 6 hours, days in advance, enabling precise, coordinated, proactive response across society, including vulnerable evacuations, enabling commerce and domestic sectors to engage in asset protection strategies. So can we afford not to employ such a system? where we got trillions of dollars at risk, and we have costs of billions of dollars for casualties, not just through insurance, but to society as a whole, which takes years to recover from. We've only got 8 years to do this. So what are the takeaways? The Advanced Earthquake Early Warning System satisfies key components, the Hydro Framework for Action, Sendai Framework for Action, key Sustainable Development Goals, and of course, what is necessary for an earthquake early warning objectives. So the provision of 15 days plus lead-in of a suspected seismic activity, confirmation 3 to 5 days in advance of an imminent earthquake, and confirmation of its epicentral zone, its narrow time window, and its magnitude. Potentially minimizes all casualties, and critically, very differently from what we've been able to achieve before, provides society to mitigate those needless asset losses. And that goes across not just commerce, but also antiquities and galleries and museums and so on and so forth. The opportunities are absolutely enormous. And we've got to get something into place by 2030. So we have recent publications, and please enjoy the article in the 4th edition of No Disasters magazine, which is the launch today, Transforming Earthquake Early Warning, Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction Strategy, and Beneficiary Actions. Thank you very much indeed for listening.
Thank you, Gary, for sticking to the time. And I will request you if you can return me my host rights.
Yes. Now I need to look at how we do that.
I'll request participants, if they have some question, they can put across. Anybody?
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir? This is Kumar Abhinay this side.
Yeah, Abhinay, please.
Yeah. So I would like to ask Professor Gary, Gary, about what are the challenges we are facing? Like you said, this could be a 95 to 99% accurate prediction of the earthquake. So what are the current challenges that we are facing in developing in this side, like in perspective of India and the Asian region, especially India and Nepal? How are we contributing into this early warning system development, sir?
Well, we have a variety of challenges, which is always difficult when you're implementing or introducing something new. First of all, we've got to bring on board the scientists in order to support and advise governments to even start to look at this and to have confidence in this whole process. This is not something which has come out of simply a back room of a university, no disrespect to those, but this has come from global scientists' collaboration over 10, 15, 20 years. So first of all, we got to build the confidence, we got to create the understanding, and secondly, we need the collaboration across trans-border in order to implement the very few sensors which we require in individual countries. So we don't need necessarily the political will for countries to work together, but we do need the political will for countries to commit to a global system rather than trying to rely purely upon their own internal systems. We still need P-wave early warning. We still need that. So there's no question about replacing anything in existence at the moment, and we still need statistical systems such as GEMS and so on and so forth in order to look long term at where the priorities are for investment for DER, for earthquake early warning. So there's no question about replacing anybody, but this is bringing in a whole new approach to the potential of advanced earthquake early warning.
Right, sir. We hope this comes in implementation as soon as possible for the prediction of earthquakes, as they are like the most damaging and economic loss.
Yeah, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
One question, one short one. Mr. Gary, are there any preventive measures? Because we speak of prevention is better than cure in all aspects. Is there in any way to lessen the magnitude or occurrences? Because we always depend on everything. Are there any latest preventive measures?
If you're meaning preventative measures for earthquakes, no. But if you're meaning there are preventative and mitigation processes which we and industry and domestic and society as a whole can take, yes, we've only just begun to scratch the earth, scratch the surface at this present time. We've got so many more opportunities evolved, having an advanced warning of 3, 4, 5 days, rather than what we've relied upon in some countries as only 30 to 60 seconds. So drills, shakeouts, and so forth. A trained society is the most effective way of creating that mitigation towards any disaster. We have to raise that awareness within society of what their risks are and how they are to respond. But to provide them with 30 seconds and say, now do your best, that's not adequate. You have to have an early warning system in place for them to actually practice. And we know that because, Japan has been practicing for many, many years now, and countries which don't have early warning systems and they don't get to have the opportunity to practice, and then suddenly something comes out like a 70-year event, then we're caught cold, and they don't know how to respond. We've got to have communities, cities, sectors of cities and rural environments capable of practicing their drills. And it was shown in China after the 2008 earthquake, Sichuan earthquake. One headmaster had drilled with his school of 1,200 students. He evacuated them within 90 seconds. That took training and drill.
Can we,
Yep.
Dr. Reddy and Kumar Abhinay, answer to you that Government of India is having a national seismic risk mitigation program which is coming up, and the early warning is being studied and evolved. So it will be there, it's in place. Various concepts and theories are under consideration, and I am part of that. And Dr. Reddy, as far as your question is concerned, the early warning definitely saves life, increases preparedness. But in India, we also have the building bylaws. There are building codes for construction of house. So when you construct the house in the right land and as per the building code. And now the new trend is performance-based building. So we are having performance-based building. And there is a lot of capacity building awareness which is happening in India. So that is to be done, a comprehensive effort.